Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Asouthernbelle YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, hi, how are you? Welcome. My name is Deanna and I run the YouTube channel Asouthernbelle. So I'm so glad you're here. And if you guys are already subscribed to this channel, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. But today I just wanted to take you guys along with me on a typical day in my life. I am doing some things in the kitchen today and I wanted to show you guys what I do. This particular day I am cooking from scratch, making a quiche, restocking some pantry items, and doing some gardening things because gardening is around the corner and I'm super excited about it. One of the first things I like to do before I even start cooking is to start off with a clean kitchen. Typically, I do this the night before, so I don't have to do this when I wake up, but we was a little bit off our schedule, and this particular day was the last day that I could have a nice meal before my surgery. My surgery has already passed, and I am at home resting, and everything turned out good. So I am going ahead and getting the kitchen cleaned and getting it all cleaned up so I can start cooking breakfast. One of the many things that I'm going to have to do today is make some sweet tea for my family. If you guys do not know, I am a Georgia peach. I was born in Georgia and we love sweet tea. It is a staple in my home. But I am also going to be rinsing these eggshells that I have been saving when we make eggs in the morning. I have a bowl in the fridge waiting to be rinsed and used as well. I don't like wasting anything. I try to stretch our dollar as much as I possibly can within reason, and I have been saving the eggs. If you guys do not know, eggs are a great source of calcium. So is the egg water if you boil eggs, and even spoiled milk for your garden. So we go through a lot of milk, but we always use up our milk, so I chose to use the byproduct of scrambling eggs or making a fried egg in the morning. So I chose to use the shells, and I'm just going to rinse them, put them in the oven in a pan, and dry them out, and then blend them up so we can have a homemade calcium powder for the garden. Also, if you guys peek in the background, you may notice that I have a different item in my kitchen, and I picked up this dresser from my local thrift store for $10, you guys. I switched out the hardware. I am painting the hinges with a metal or antique copper acrylic paint from my local Walmart, and yeah, gave it a quick makeover and it looks perfect in my kitchen. It's a little bit plain right now and I still need to seal it, but once I finish redoing the hinges to that copper, it is so gorgeous. So I need to talk to y'all about this quiche. I am not sure what I did wrong. The quiche, the egg part, came out so good and delicious, but the pie crust was not that good. I followed a recipe that I had found online, and it was a quick pie crust recipe, and it was 30 minutes. And I'm starting to think that either the pie dough needs to rest longer or I need to cook it less, probably a little bit of both. But the crust was not my favorite. It came out a little bit hard and a little bit dry for my taste. I like a good flaky buttery pie crust, and honestly this was not it, and my husband agreed. But you know, we ate it and we enjoyed it. It was really good hot, but once my husband wanted to go back for seconds, he was like, He just got the eggs off of it and then ate and left the pie crust. But I don't know, if you guys have a good pie crust recipe, please leave it in the description below. And hubby just came and got the pot off the stove. If y'all see the pot that just quickly moved, yeah, he got the pot off the stove for me. But I am refilling our egg carton. We get our eggs in bulk, and during the summer we get our eggs farm fresh. One thing that I honestly forgot to mention earlier is to check on your eggshells when you are drying them in the oven. This one has been in there for roughly about 5 to 8 minutes because I did wash them and they were pretty wet. And my oven is on 350, just to give you guys a reference. The eggs can burn. They can and they will burn if you leave them in for too long. So make sure that you just honestly checking your eggs. I had to put mine back in for an additional 2 to 3 minutes, and I was checking on them periodically within those minutes. So make sure that you check on your eggs. You will need a blender for this, or you can use a mortar and pestle if you don't have that. It makes it a super fine powder. I've done both ways. I just like the blender because it's a lot quicker and I can get it out the way. I am going to be restocking my flour. I make nearly all of our bread products, and I make our bread products, our breads, our biscuits, our dinner rolls. I make it at home to help stretch our budget even more. And honestly, it's just something awesome about making bread from scratch. So I am just restocking that because I make bread 2 to 3 times a week because we go through it. We have bread with almost every single meal, if not all meals, just depending on how we feel. So one thing I am going to learn how to do is to make Hawaiian bread. My husband loves Hawaiian bread. I did find some on clearance that needed to be gone from my local Walmart market near our home. So I did get that, and we honestly loved it. And that bread was gone literally that same day because they loved it so much. So I took mental note of that, and I'm gonna try to make that at home. I took the eggs out and then I used some tongs to pick them up because they are hot. And then I grabbed the other bowl out of the fridge and replaced the eggs I just took out with the ones I took from the fridge. And I'm just going to powder these up as best I can in the blender and stick them in a recycled, reused kimchi jar that I finished, when me and my daughter finished. We love kimchi, so we always have kimchi jars laying around. Now I am blending up the last and final batch of the eggshells, and honestly, like, I'm super excited about this. Be careful when you open this because this do have some dust and you don't want to breathe that in. But I am putting in the eggshells into the jar, and honestly, I have never been so excited about using this. I used this method last year for the garden and it worked, and I swear by it now. However, I will say if your soil is already depleted, I would use other methods. Like, you can, if you boil eggs, you can pour that egg water all over your plants so they can get that calcium in their system, especially like your tomatoes and your squash. They're heavy feeders. Well, your squash is a heavy feeder. And then you could also use like spoiled milk that's been diluted down. And here is the quiche. It turned out good, like I said, but the crust was a no. But that is it for today's video. I'll see you guys in my next one.